if you've seen the last video, which I haven't made yet, but by the time this video is out, I will have made. This car runs and drives again. It sort of doesn't run quite right, but it's close enough. It does run, and it moves down the road under its own power, and it stops, but just barely. And today, hopefully, we're gonna fix that. I say today like I'm doing this in one day. I am not doing this in one day. This is gonna be like probably 2 weeks of gradual here and there work trying to get it put back together. I went back to work, so of course the project cars are gonna slow down again. Not that anyone knew they were speeding up, because I haven't edited any of the footage of the hours and hours and hours of work that I did when I didn't have a job. I'm actually kind of looking forward to this job. I like doing brake work. It's satisfying and I know how to do it. It's also very easy for me to be enthusiastic about having functional brakes. I haven't worked on any of the cars for almost a week now, and I kind of miss it. I think it's a good distraction from all the other things going on, and I can just focus in on this one thing, and the problems are all right in front of me, and I can fix them. Like, I can see the problem and I can deal with it. Even though I don't know how, I will learn it, I will figure it out. It's all right there in front of me. Videos have been kind of slow. That's because I like doing things and I like filming things, but then I don't really like editing, so I just kind of amass hours and hours of footage, and then I don't really want to go through it all, so I procrastinate and don't do it. When I started, I tried doing that thing where you like don't talk and then just dub music over whatever you're doing, but it got really hard finding copyright-free music, so I binned that idea. And then I started doing voiceovers, but I didn't like doing voiceovers because I don't like my own voice, so I binned that idea. And then I tried using just the raw sound from the video clips, and that was nice because you could hear the tools and the parts clanking together and stuff. And I like videos done that way, but the problem is that I can't listen to music while I work when I film that way, because if I play the music that I want to listen to while I'm working, I will get a copyright strike unless I edit out the music. So I binned that idea, which brought me back to doing voiceovers because I don't know what else to do. So enjoy all the voiceovers, or don't. I don't really care. Nobody watches this anyway, like it doesn't matter. God, there's a lot of yapping. Here's what we got going on the left rear wheel. This is the worst one because it's doing something it was never supposed to do. You see that pile of chips on top of the brake pad and the giant gouge that it has machined into the rotor. How and why this happened, I do not know. I am going to figure it out though. Pretty crazy. That's a 1/4 inch wide gouge that's almost 1/8 of an inch deep. You know, got some chips. Some sparkles in there. Not good. This caliper looks lovely. That piece of hardware there also looks decidedly unwell. Also, if you're ever curious, this is where the seatbelt retaining bolt for the 3rd row seatbelts in a 240 wagon is. It's actually a nut on this side and a bolt from the inside of the car. And you have to grab the nut with vice grips from the outside while you turn the bolt on the inside. And then when you take it out, it leaves a big old hole in your inner fender that lets water into the back of your car. I'm gonna plug it, I just haven't got around to it yet. Back in there, you can see a fuel line and also 2 flexible brake lines, which have seen better days. So those are getting replaced. Up front on the left side, we have a brake rotor that has worn beautifully. And this caliper might be working. You can see on the back side, it's not wearing quite as evenly as it is on the front side. So something's not quite right up here. You can also see that my backing plate has a couple of rust holes in it, you know, just a little bit. Nothing crazy, but it is a little rusty. Ooh, shiny sway bar. Yeah, fat lot of good that does when the car doesn't drive because the brakes don't work. On the right side of the car, passenger side, we've got another rotor that's wearing pretty well, but huge lip on the back side. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm talking about. That shiny spot there is a lip. It's also got a ton of ridges in it. It's very wavy when you run your finger over it. So, despite looking good on the outside, it is not good. Something is wrong. Even from the top, you can see how much thinner that inner wall, because these are they're like twin wall vented rotors. That inner wall is much thinner. That's like an 1/8 inch compared to a 1/4 inch on the outer wall. Of course, the backing plate on this side consists of one metal stick. That's about all that's left. I should add with the backing plates, on the front, I'm gonna run without the backing plates. That's what I've been doing on my sedan for a few years now, and it's worked just fine. On the rear, the backing plate, of course, is a bit rusty. I have replacement rear backing plates. They are important because the parking brake shoes ride on them. And you can see here on the outside, we've got marks where you can tell that the pad isn't engaging very much. You see how the surface is a little bit patchy there? This is caused by two things. One is that the brake rotor has been pitted by rust. The other is that the pad on this side probably isn't engaging quite as hard as it should, which probably means that the piston and the caliper is stuck. Can't tell what's happening on the back side, but it feels about the same as the front, which is to say not good. So all this stuff is going to get replaced. This is the brake at the right front wheel, and I was just about to start disassembling it, and I was looking at it, and I got kind of curious about this this uneven wear that's going on here, because it's very thin here and very thick here. As far as I know, this car is maintained by a shop under the previous owner. This is why I don't take my car to shops, or part of why. That's why the wear is uneven. It's just a hunch, just a guess. That might be why. This side is correct. This side, the pad, has no wear because the pad is put in backwards. And so this was just metal on metal, and somehow the guy who did this at the shop didn't catch it when he test drove the car, or if he didn't test drive the car, that would explain it. And then somehow also the guy who took the car to the shop and got it back didn't notice the sound that this was making and didn't bother taking the car back to the shop to tell them that they messed up. I never thought I would see this in person. I didn't, like, you know, you see pictures online of like people screwing up mechanical things and you think, oh, yeah, that's funny, like, that's pretty bad. I'll never see that in my lifetime. That won't happen to me. Somebody did it. I can't believe it. I can't. That's hilarious. Cannot. When you go to take the rear calipers off a 240, you'll find these parts bolted to them, or at least hopefully you will. These are a part of the crash safety system in a 240. My car only had one of these. Somebody took the passenger side one off, so now I have to go find another one. They are left-right symmetrical, so it's not a big deal. But if you're swapping your calipers and you're gonna either scrap the old calipers or send them off for a core return, make sure you pull these off first, because new calipers do not come with these, and you want to have those on your car. In an accident, if the rear of your car gets crumpled, this crash triangle will push forward, hit that little spacer on the back of your caliper, and then all your suspension components will help prevent the rear of the car from crumpling further. That's part of what keeps the passenger compartment on these cars intact in a wreck. The issue I ran into that slowed this job down tremendously was this, the rear proportioning valves, and maybe more so actually this. See how it's all torn up there? This can is supposed to keep this spring in place, and when the can rusts out, it'll pop off and then it doesn't hold the spring, and then I don't know what happens, but I don't want to find out. When this one fell apart, I was just like, okay, I gotta find new ones. These are hard to find replacements for. If you do find replacement, it's very expensive. Lots of people do lots of different things. People route straight through them, people bypass them, people switch them out for like aftermarket Willwood proportioning valves. But then you have to set those manually and you're never gonna get them exactly right. Luckily, I had a friend with a parts car that had these still on it. They don't look like they're in much better shape, but they are in a little better shape. And the lines weren't rusted into them quite as bad, so I'll clean them up and paint them and put them in the car. That slowed me down because I had to go find a time to pull these, and then I was like, oh, I'll put them in the car the next day, and then, oh, I'll put them in the car later this week, and then work picked up and just didn't have it in me to be crawling around on my back trying to get rusty parts off the car, so back at it again. These flex lines were pretty well stuck in from rust, but they are in fact coming out courtesy of this stuff, so big ups to PB Blaster. Found a new pet in here. Check this guy out. There we go. You don't want to be in here, you want to be outside. Go do a lap around there, bud. Before I put the new rotors on, the driver's side wheel bearing up front is shot, and I figured I would just replace both the driver and passenger side wheel bearings. The old bearings look about like that. They're greased up, but they don't look bad, but they definitely feel bad. I've already knocked the races out of this hub, so I'm just gonna knock the races out of this side too. With all the old bearings out, installing the new bearings is pretty much the reverse. I used the old outer races to pound the new outer races in, and then I just tapped the old outer races back out. There's one new wheel bearing, and there's another new wheel bearing, which you can't see because it's in the dark. So now the final, hopefully, I shouldn't have said that, but the final thing is two brake lines that need to be redone. This one, the hex broke off of the nut. Hex is just free spinning now. And this one from the other side where the hex got pretty chewed up. I finally had to take the vice grips to it because it wouldn't come off. So that's got to get redone as well. Got some tubing. Got some tools and stuff. Got lots of really messed up looking practice flares because it always takes me a little while to get back into doing this. There we go, it's a good one. Didn't mess it up. Trial by fire. A little bit burred on this side, but that's okay. nut fits. I remembered to put the nut on. Should be good to go. It's another pretty good one. Not perfect, but that'll do the job. See thing. There's one caliper on. But of course, as has been the theme with this car, if it's not one thing, it's another. I got shipped the wrong right side caliper despite buying what looked like the right part number. This is for a non-vented brake rotor. It's very narrow. This car has vented brake rotors, which are kind of wide. They don't fit in that gap. So this needs to be replaced, probably send it back and hopefully get a new one, and hopefully it doesn't take that long, probably be another week. Looks correct. I see a bleeder on the top, so it's right if you clock it like this, and then that where it would go in the car, this will be on the top. Pistons are already compressed. Did not come with dust caps because I bought the cheapest one, or one of the cheapest ones, but I've had a set from the same company on the sedan for a few years now, and they've been doing just fine. Did come with hardware, so that's good. And I have plenty of leftover dust caps, so hey, look, they're there. All the brake lines are in place, so in theory I can bleed the brakes and then they will work. So it's time to see if my new flares actually hold fluid pressure. I did end up ordering a pressure bleeder. I did my sedan's brakes without one, but I have two of these cars now, and this is supposed to be the easy way to do it. So I figured I would just cave and buy one. I went ahead and put in a new master cylinder while I was waiting for the pressure bleeder to arrive, because I was looking at the old one and it didn't look too hot. And since I did all new calipers, it's like, well, I may as well do that too. So we're gonna see how it works. See what happens. Close enough.
Close enough?
Yeah, you give it a shot.
Alright. Oh, there we go.
There's bubbles.
Looks like air to me.
Yeah. This one should have air because it's the longest run. It goes down the car and then across the axle.
But the fluid doesn't look too bad.
Oh yeah, because I drained all of it. There we go. Finally. You can hear it popping. Oh, it's leaking a little bit at the fitting.
Yeah.
No, I'll throttle it just for now to get the... It's empty. Not gonna leak. Almost a week ago, I thought that I was going to test drive the car with the new brakes, and I went to start the car, and it wouldn't start. It wouldn't even crank. And then as I was walking away from the car, I put the keys in my pocket. I'm walking like over there, and the car starts cranking by itself, which was a little scary. I ran back over and got the battery cable off. I put a bit of a mark in the wrench there because I shorted it out. It's hard to get a wrench on a battery terminal when the battery's shaking because the car is cranking. Anyway, I have a new ignition switch that's going to go in. I also have to patch up the starter solenoid wire because it's got some really janky insulation down there. Something happened in this part of the engine bay at some point. There's a lot of electrical tape over things, and
kind of messed up looking insulation. When I was first working on the car, it almost looked like something down there had very briefly caught fire, like there'd been a really tiny little fire just on top of the starter. But I don't think so, because it just doesn't make sense why it would be that localized, and I couldn't figure out where the source would have been. So I don't know, but something's janky. That wiring with the chromy electrical tape on it has got to go. So the starter signal looks good. Now the only thing to do is fix this nasty kind of melted wire down here.